the inner game of closing. I can see a few of you are inside the waiting room. And let me just do a quick check. Please do let me know if you're watching this live or on my Zoom. Let me know if the audio is clear. I see Najim is live on Facebook, and I say Matthew is here, Daryl is here, welcome back. Ryan is here, some new faces, and David. As usual, you are very quiet. So what is you're very quiet? Is the audio clear, everybody? Give me a sign. Okay, David says it's clear. Okay, so if everything is okay, let's get started. And today we're going to talk about the inner game of closing. If you are looking at a, wait, I fixed my sound, thanks, awesome. Okay, if you see a little black bar on the right, okay, that is me looking at the chat, me looking at you, and Shelley is here. Okay, it seems like people are slowly streaming in. So once again, thank you for taking out your Friday morning, Friday night, wherever you are in the world. I appreciate you giving me 1 hour of your time. So let's make this worthwhile. Let's make this worth your time. And while we wait for more people to stream in, let me quickly read this message. It was from a closer. So I'm going to keep his name private. I'm going to keep the name of his influencer private. When I asked him, why do you want to do closing? He said, I want to get out of my old life. I want to leave the 9 to 5. I want to build something, anything for myself, right? So he chose closing and then he got stuck. So when I asked him, what do you mean stuck? And this was one of the ideas of why I wanted to create this training. He said, it's myself. And I was like, what do you mean yourself? He said, I'm holding myself back. And I said, how? I said, my paradigm, my mindset, my environment. He said, I don't know how to break this pattern. So when I got him to elaborate, one day, he actually sent me this handwritten letter. Okay, this is, he said, emotion after blank. Okay, that is his influencer's name. I feel a lot of self-doubt. Okay, I'm going to read to you. I know the font and the handwriting is a bit small. He said, my English is not as good as a native speaker. I can't speak as well as my influencer. I don't understand his slang. I was ready to kill it inside his messenger. I had a lot of plans. I felt hope and I saw the way out, but he fired me and all my plans were screwed. Then I began hating Messenger. I hated to talk to people. I told everyone I got an influencer, but not even within a month, I got fired. I don't want to answer people on Messenger because I don't want to face the bad emotions. I started doubting myself if closing is for me. I could easily get away with my IT skills, get a job, and I don't have to talk to anyone. I don't need to go back to setting or closing. I don't need to tell anyone that I have failed. Again, I escaped from the reality. I don't do the things I need to do. I fill out my time with YouTube, Netflix, games. I wouldn't fail over there. By doing all this shit, it didn't fill my void. I sabotage myself even more. I think by now you get a sense he's not a native English speaker, but he's really doing his best, right? The same time, my dad got really sick. He needed to breathe with help from the machine. He might not make it. But I didn't feel much sadder because I was already in the darkness. Nothing could hurt me more. My heart was already broken into pieces, just like the brother in Money Heist, which I didn't watch. I don't know what's that. I locked my feeling. I kept sabotaging. One night, I remember clearly, my mom randomly said to me when I went to sleep, son, I saw you are in pain. My heart is broken. My mom never said something like this, but it warmed me. I finally released my emotions, cried in the bed, cried myself, covered myself with the quilt. She reminded me I was in pain. I tried to forget the pain to hide my pain. So these are the things that we don't see because the closest inner game is hidden. A closer's inner game is deep inside. Only you know your innermost thoughts. We as closers, we are trained to, hold the frame and appear confident and sound smart and show a very strong front. But underneath that surface, when we don't know how to navigate, we don't know how to build this career after everyone has already known that we are on the computer all day, all night, it can be very difficult to find our courage, to find ourselves. So that's the purpose of today's training. And if you find yourself in a similar position, you can relate, and you want to stand up from where you have fallen. Okay, in this training, I hope you can take home what I call the 6 elements. And I'm going to be making a lot of Marvel references today. If you're a Marvel fan, that's great for you. How many Marvel fans do we have in the room or on Facebook today? Let me know in the chat. And by the way, let me know who's your favorite superhero as well, because make a guess who's mine. Okay. So this is the ad that I would wish everyone would have seen before you sign up and commit to a closer, because a lot of these basic expectations, when I coach closers, I find that they don't even have it. And this is actually the precise requirements of what your inner game should have. I believe by the end of this training, if you see that if a closer, I see Black Panther, Doctor Strange, okay, mine, guess mine. I believe by the end of this training, if you look back and you see a closer missing, maybe just even 1 or 2 of these elements, you find that it's almost impossible for them to do anything in this career. So I'm going to just quickly reveal all the things over here, and then I'll go deeper in the rest of the training. The first one, okay, is space. Space. We'll talk about physical space. How many of you have a safe private space where you can work undisturbed? No distractions, no people running around, no people asking you to run errands, no one disturbing you. Number 2, time. Okay, discipline, mastery. That's how you control your time. And that's really the most important thing. Okay, at this stage in your career, at this stage in your business, how you use your own time is the most important. Okay, and number 3 is power. Power is your sales power. How do you, gamers call this clutch, which means in a high pressure situation, how do you perform and even win under a lot of emotional or mental pressure? Okay, that's power. Number 4 is to understand sales psychology, that is in the mind. And number 5 is the alignment of who you are and your results. Okay, that's soul. And number 6 is mastering all the variations of the how and the what. That's the reality. Looks like a long, overwhelming list. Okay, so I will try to be fast, effective, and concise, starting with number 1. Okay, let's talk about space. And space is a simple one. How many of you have a space like this? This is actually my setup. And I started this immediately in 2018 when I was like, I'm going to leave my martial arts business. I'm going to stop fencing competitively. And now I'm going to do this online thing. Okay, I'm going to do this online thing and I need a space. So I took a lot of effort to create this space for myself. As you can see, it's very neat. Okay, it's a place where I can be undisturbed. No sound, no noise, no disturbance, Wi-Fi, computer, and that's all we need. Okay, how many of you have this space where you can focus all day, get enough sleep? When you need to take calls, you can wake up immediately, go into action. When you need to rest, you can rest. Okay, this is the most important physical thing, Edmund says me. Okay, this is the most important thing that you need as a closer. If you don't have this, or if your Wi-Fi is weak, that's it. Okay, you cannot complete the gauntlet. You cannot complete the gauntlet. And without this, the energy itself is not right. Okay, the energy itself is not right because the essence of what we do as closers is all in energy. It sounds like we are using words. It sounds like you're putting out content. It sounds like you're selling your sales skills, but what is the root of all these things? Okay, it's in your energy. So if you don't feel safe that you can focus and present your best work and go deep into the silence and study and synthesize and level up and study the courses. Some of you bought my courses. Some of you are learning from other coaches, and that's all fine. But you need this base. If this was a war, okay, this would be your HQ. Okay, so take a look at your physical space. If it's messy, clean it up. Okay, if your Wi-Fi is weak, strengthen it. If you need more motivation, okay, do whatever you need to make sure that this is an effective battleground for you to achieve your best possible results. Okay, if you want a six-figure career, okay, where is your office? Where is your business? Okay, you got to treat this like it's already your office, it's already your business. Okay, you have to start from here. Okay, time. Okay, this is a huge one. Mastering your discipline. What does it mean? Okay, I talked about this last week. I talk about it all the time whenever I say you want to up level your kung fu as a closer. You need to study, synthesize, and share. And here, what I'm saying essentially is you need 1 hour to study. Okay, I see Maggie is here. Welcome. 1 hour to study. Okay, whether it's setting, whether it's closing, whether it's setting and closing, whatever theory, that's 1 hour of study. Now, this is just a theory. The theory is not enough. You need 1 additional hour to practice and go back and forth either with a mentor, a coach, or someone who is more experienced than you. If you practice with people equally green as you, the blind is leading the blind, and then you don't know who is correcting what and who has actually taken calls and who can coach through. It becomes very frustrating. Okay, and then you need 1 additional hour to build your brand. Okay, I have been checking a lot of your profiles. I don't see what we need to see in a professional brand. Some of you are still adding closes. You are talking to closes. That should not be the case. I should be talking to closes. Well, I'm helping closes. You should be talking to influencers. Okay, and who can tell me why 1 hour? I see Muhammad is live. Welcome. Why 1 hour? Okay, in total it's 3 hours, but why do I use 1 hour as a unit of time? Okay, take a moment to guess why 1 hour. Okay, Daryl says easier to manage. Okay, remember, this is a marathon. It is not a sprint. If you work 3, 4, 5, 6 hours today for 1 day on a Friday, but the rest of the week, you do nothing. If you look at a week as a unit of measurement, in that week, that becomes a very weak week, if you know what I'm saying. But if you do 1 hour a day, on the surface, it seems unimpressive. You might even underestimate, well, how can I possibly get to 6 figures, get a 5-figure month if I just do 1 hour? Well, 1 hour in a week, that's a very powerful thing. 1 hour in a month, that's an incredibly powerful thing. I want you to look at the long-term consistency, because there are too many closers that don't even put in that 1 quality hour. Just like my student in the beginning, the one who wrote the letter, once they avoid, it's completely avoided. And they will find a way to avoid it. They'll watch 1 more video. They'll watch 1 more series on Netflix. And later on, I will explain what is the root of this avoidance. But if you compare this severe avoidance, this severe procrastination to 1 hour, I can tell you, once you sustain that 1 hour, when you go for 90 minutes, it becomes so much easier. The resistance practically becomes non-existence. Yes, Shirley, 1 hour helps with the discipline. And then later on, without realizing it, you'll find that when I want to go for 2 quality hours, maybe in that hour, I'm texting 25 people, I'm texting 50 people, whether you are working as a setter, whether you are closer generating leads, whether you are closer trying to complete your own pipeline, or whether you're looking for influencers, you find that when I want to do 2 hours a day, when I want to do 2 hours a day for each pillar, that's 6 hours a day. And when I want to do a full shift, that's 8 hours. When I want to do 1.5 shifts, When I want to do tool shift, when I want to work like this is my business, so it doesn't feel like work anymore, you realize that you become a superhuman. You become a superhero. You can just keep working. And the way that you work, it no longer feels like work. Okay, what is the secret to this kind of superhuman consistency? It's you have learned to close yourself. I want to say trick your mind, but that's like a very weak, superficial technique that I don't like. It's really conditioning yourself to trust yourself that worst case scenario, if today I wanted to give myself 1 quality hour, I know that I can do it. So you must really condition yourself to say 1 unit of time for me is 1 hour. And when I want to evaluate my performance, I look at that 1 week. How did I perform? Where did my hours go? Okay, so when it comes down to effective hours, a lot of times I just need to pull out a student's calendar, a closer's calendar, and I look at the schedule, and immediately I know what's going on. Okay, and can you imagine if we call this a business, we call this a career, and you have to be a professional. If your schedule is not established, then are you a professional? And do you deserve to be in this space? You know the answer. So this is the base requirement for any professional. Your influencer should not have to check your schedule. Your coach should not have to check your schedule. Your schedule should be locked in. And when it is time to study, you should have the self-discipline to study. And if you want to hold yourself accountable, you can share it in our tribe. You can share it in our group. Okay, and the theory is not enough. You need to have the 1 hour of practicing. So I want to see your work. I want to see your sharing. I want to see how did you synthesize. I want to see how did you apply. Okay, and you don't have to feel like, well, Sean, I don't really feel that it's significant, so I don't want to share. Again, that is your paradigm tricking you not to take the small step. So if I see 1 solid hour from you a day, okay, if you want to keep it private, you can just text me privately. I might not have the time to reply, but at least when I check my phone, I can see, oh, this guy is doing work. If you give me 3 months and you're consistently nailing the quality and the quantity for these 3 pillars, I guarantee you, worst case scenario, your income will be that of a B grade closer, which is about 3,000 give or take. Okay, so let's look at this from another perspective. If you gave me these 3 hours and in return, someone told you, I'll pay you 3,000 a month, would you do it? Would that be enough motivation for you to do it? And if you give me 8 hours a day, 8 to 12 hours, you will get a 6-figure a year. Now, would that motivate you to wake up and do the work? Would that give you the motivation to optimize your brand? Would that give you the motivation to internalize the sales psychology? Okay, you go think about this whole thing, okay, and then you got to close yourself. Okay, that's my point. And a quick note on discipline is if you're someone that you struggle with this, because deep down at the end of the day, it's because you're unwilling to step out of your comfort zone. And this industry isn't for you. Okay, don't buy any more courses. Don't even buy mine. Okay, at the end of the training, I'm going to show my course, but don't buy if you're not able to actually sit down and do this for minimum 3 solid hours a day. Okay, think about this. When you become a sales leader or a sales director or leader of a sales team, which I believe if you're in this space, that should be one of your core goals, to rise up as a 6-figure sales leader. Don't you think that by that point, you need to actually be good at strategizing for yourself, to actually know what are your goals for the week and your KPIs for whatever you want to hit, and to be responsible for planning your own money? So if that is your end game, why does it not start now? A lot of closers, when I ask them to pull out their goals, they pull out their action steps for the week, it's non-existent. And you know why they don't do it? Because if they do it, they have to confront their life. They have to confront their ownership. They have to confront their responsibility, and they don't want to face it. Because they think that way, I don't have to face my fear. But then the longer this goes, okay, the more dangerous it is. Okay, and then by the time they realize it, it's too late. So if your end game is to become a pro here, why does it not start now? And then if it doesn't start today, you guys all better pull out an Excel sheet and map out all your action steps, all your KPIs, all your targets, whether you are in a team, whether you're not in a team, you better pull out an Excel sheet and start mapping out your goals and numbers. Because if it doesn't start today, then when will it start? If you can't take 100% full ownership and responsibility for your strategy, for your action steps and your numbers, then when does it start? You know what I'm saying? Okay, and that's your physical environment. This one is your physical environment. Okay, what about the non-physical boundaries? Does your family understand and know when you need to work? What rules need to be respected? What time are you not available? Okay, you're going to learn how to protect your own energy and emotions and personal space and time. Okay, it's both. It's the space and time, and manage whatever communication and relationships you have with the people that live with you, that need your time, and all that goes into space and time as well. Okay, and once again, at the end of today's training, okay, send me your strategy, send me your sheet, okay, show me or show yourself and hold yourself accountable by sharing with me what's the plan. Okay, 6 months from now, what's the plan? Is every day going to be a repeat of the same day? And is that okay? Is that going to bring about change? So when we look at space and time, okay, these are very, very real elements that a lot of closers avoid inside. Okay. Now, let me talk about power. What's my definition of power? Okay, as mentioned over here, okay, it's your ability. Number 3, okay, your ability to clutch. Okay, it is a gaming term. When under pressure, the guy still can win the whole thing. It's because he thrives, he excels under pressure. Okay, here I'll show you my 3 grade framework for closers. You have the C grade, the B grade, and the A grade closer. Okay, and then I have segmented them into identity, brand, and skills. I expand a little bit more inside my online guide, Closer Secrets. Okay, if you have not seen it, comment guide below, and then I'll send it to you. So in terms of the identity, okay, the C grade closer is still in the employee mindset. It's still trading time for money. Okay, it's still in an escape state of mind. Whereas the B grade closer starts to bring up his skills. He's looking into his skills more. Okay, if I can set, I can stabilize my income. If I can close, I can stabilize my income. So he's shifting from the employee selling time mentality to now let me own my skills. And at the highest level, this guy is already taking 100% ownership of, you give me a lead, I know what to do. You give me a set of leads, I know what to do. You give me a set of numbers, I know what to do. I know how to sort them out. I know how to take the initiative to build systems, trackers, numbers. Okay, I know how to set, I know how to close. Most of the A grade closers in terms of skills have way surpassed their own influencers' ability to set and close. So in such a scenario, most of the time, the influencers will step aside and say, you do your thing, you take over. Okay, I'll handle the coaching. Okay, that's the level of an A grade closer. If you look at the brand and you check their online presence, you see the same thing. Okay, the A grade closer, non-existent. The brand is non-existent. It's generic. Okay, the B grade closer, there's some original value in there. And you look at the A grade closer, now that guy is almost like becoming an influencer, but not quite yet. Okay, because he has original value. People are coming to him for a solution. He has that value. So where does all of these come from? Okay, it's actually inside your substance. Okay, in terms of performance, the C grade closer is not earning because they don't have at least 3 hours of quality work. Okay, no influencers, they sabotage, they procrastinate, they're stuck in this darkness. Okay, now the B grade is much better. Okay, they can do good performance for about 6 hours a day. They can take about 1 or 2 calls or set about 1 or 2 calls, and they close at maybe 5–10%. Okay, but the bare minimum for the B grade guys is that they show up. Okay, they are like, coach me. Okay, they are not successful yet, not because they are lazy. Okay, they actually show up. And that's really the bare minimum that any closer needs to have. Okay, the ability to close yourself, to show up, to receive coaching, to receive insight information, and then go and apply. And most of the closers that have found success, especially the ones that I coach, is they start more or less at the B zone, and bit by bit, okay, we coach them. Okay, and later on I'll show you some case studies so that they actually get to this level where they can work solid 8 to 12 hours a day, and they don't burn out, and they're getting calls booked, and they're closing deals every single day. Okay, and that is the end game. Okay, so if you look at what I've laid out, you should see that what's happening is that the closer is attracting himself. Okay, everything operates on frequency. You are frequency. Energy is frequency. Frequency is a rate of vibration. So when you're vibrating in this zone, you find that all the things you attract happen in this column. Okay, same for B and same for A. Okay, so be very careful with this because you attract you. So after seeing this, your next question will be, okay, Sean, so then how do I move up a grade? If I'm at a B minus, how do I go to B, B plus, A minus? How do I promote? Okay, so it's all about shifting. You cannot stay in the same position. What is a shift? A shift is a commitment to a new set of habits. A shift is a commitment to a new set of strategy. A shift is a commitment to a new set of results. It is a commitment. And you can have an internal shift in how you see yourself, how you see the world. You can have an external shift in how you present yourself to the world. Okay, you can have a shift in terms of your ability to set calls and close deals. That's how we coach closers who are at B, okay, to move up into the A zone. Okay, this requires you to have a complete understanding, okay, of the three assets that I teach. Okay, your self-belief, your strategy, and your skills. Okay, and for each of these, there are quite a lot of technical stuff that goes into it. So I'm not going to bore you with all the tech stuff. Okay, but in the end, I will show you what goes into each individual part. But right now, the most important thing that you need to build in order to promote, okay, you need what I call sales fitness. And so I define sales fitness as the ability for a salesperson to consistently hit or even exceed their KPIs depending on what is the KPIs that we have established in the beginning, okay, without burning out, without breaking down, and to perform from a place of being balanced and complete. You're happy. That's what it means. Okay, so if you want to have a long, successful, lucrative career in this space, you need this sales fitness. Otherwise, okay, it's very hard for you to take control, especially when, do you know that the moment you try and challenge yourself and say that, look, I want to promote, okay, I want to break some old habits. I want to say goodbye to my old life. Do you know the moment you even think of doing this, what happens? Your old paradigm will resist violently. I've had students that come into my program and the change is so huge that one of them I remember had 2 weeks of severe migraine, okay, just because the shift was too difficult for the old paradigm to accept. Sometimes, okay, the Wi-Fi mysteriously breaks down. Sometimes the computer mysteriously breaks down. Something inside or outside will happen just because the old paradigm is resisting. Okay, when you want to break your old habits, it's so important for you to consciously take control and be aware that, look, it's not the environment, it's not other people. Okay, all this is happening because I know it's myself. My paradigm is resisting this change because it is afraid. Okay, you need to have the sales fitness to consistently study, synthesize, and share what I mentioned earlier, the 3 hours a day. Okay, and the root of that fitness It's really that the fire that you light inside of yourself, even during the times where you don't know how, even during the times where you're feeling super demoralized. You must be able to close yourself. And I don't care how. You gotta some way, somehow light the inner fire. I've seen closers that cannot light that fire inside. And do you know that by the time a closer comes to me, they tell me that I've tried all these things, and some of them text me from the hospital. Some of them text me during a kind of a relationship crisis. So a lot of times it's a health crisis, a financial crisis, or a relationship crisis. Then I receive a message from them. And the message I'm getting is they come to me, or I should say they come to closing because it is time for them to finally face themselves. And during peaceful times, they didn't have the motivation to do this. When they had ample time to prepare, they didn't take the initiative to initiate this change. It's only when it's too late and the wake-up calls are here, and then they have nothing else to do, they have no one else to turn to, and then they remember me because they remember all these things I say. And then they say, it has happened. The wake-up call is here. I need help. So if you wait for life to put you in that corner, it's going to be very, very tough. But if you initiate the change now, I guarantee you, it's going to be so much easier. In a way, closing is our way of standing up for ourselves. In a way, this decision to come into closing is our way of taking ownership of our life and our paradigm. What we should have done maybe 5 years ago, what we should have done for ourselves maybe 10 years ago, even 20 years ago. Okay, maybe closing is the universe's way of telling you it's time. Okay, it's time to close yourself. Which brings me to the mind. Okay, this is the root of your bread and butter. This is your skill. This is your kung fu. This is what separates closer A from closer B from closer C. When 20, 50 of us apply to a position, this is what determines who gets the role. At this point, I want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Andrew Wong from Malaysia, who has landed another dream opportunity of his. He has been taking a break after cycling through a few teams, earning about, I believe he has crossed 3.3 thousand. Okay, which in his country, that is a pretty decent amount. So snaps for Andrew. Okay, and then now he is able to find a 7-figure team, and I saw his interview, and he performed really well, and he prepared really well. This 7-figure company is in the States. Andrew is in Malaysia, and he doesn't have good English. He doesn't work in the US time zone. He's not as experienced as the other applicants, and he got the opportunity. Okay, there's a lot of growth in this company because it's a 7-figure team, but they only have one setter. So now he's joining as a setter / closer. There's a lot of room for him to take charge and grow in this team. So I'm so happy for Andrew. If you know him personally, okay, send him your congratulations as well. But then why do closers not do what Andrew do? Or why do they have it so hard? Okay, there are 2 ways you can look at it. One is they don't know why it's so hard. Okay, 2 is actually they know that even if they get into the team, it's going to be extremely dangerous and scary. So not going into the fire is much safer. So they sabotage themselves. And I've seen this happen so many times. You know, the closer is in the race. He's already competing for the position. And then he has to say something that pisses the interviewer off. Or he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the interviewer off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the interviewer off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the interviewer off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the interviewer off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. And then he has to say something that pisses the team off. that hurts his own chance, or he has to type something that makes him sound generic. And I look at the screenshot or I look at the recording and I'm like, why did you say that? Or why did you type that? Okay, and it is unconscious, or sometimes it is conscious. It's because they know that if I go in, I get tested, I'm gonna get exposed, I'm gonna hurt my own reputation. So why not sabotage myself first? Let me have 3 months, 3 more months to prepare, and let me keep preparing, and that way I never have to succeed. And initially they feel like, yeah, this is a safer option. But then the longer time passes, the more they realize that, wait a minute, this was a horrible way, to do this. I should not have allowed myself to keep preparing to prepare. But then why don't they jump in? Okay, it's because they know that they don't understand the psychology. They know that if you give me a lead now, I actually don't know what to do with it. If you give me a call now, you run ads and you pay hundreds of dollars to generate these leads and you give it to me, I actually do not know how to do it. And I don't want to hurt our relationship. So let's not get to work. What is the root of this problem? Inside, they know they don't understand the sales psychology. So what is the solution? Remember the 3 hours I talked about earlier? If you give me 6 months and every day I grill you on your skills, I grill you on your understanding. Okay, or if not me, someone else that can do the same. Okay, that we can grill you on your practice, your schedule, your understanding, and deal with all the variations for 6 months. Can you guys share with me, if you had someone to do this for you, what would happen in 6 months? I want to hear what you have to say. Because I know a lot of you just bought a course and you hired a coach and this didn't happen. True or false? You didn't have someone to hold you accountable to say, what is your schedule like? And did you use your time well? And did you internalize what I'm about to share, which is these principles, okay, of setting and closing and the psychology? Did anyone actually train you and internalize this into your subconscious for at least 4 to 6 months? I took 4.5 months to get to the point where I'm confident now. I will jump on interviews, I will text influencers, I can look them in the eyes without feeling nervous, I can get into any team without feeling unconfident. I took 4.5 months going back and forth with my mentors until it was in me. Because once it stays in you, it stays with you forever. And you will know it when you arrive. Okay, so how many of you have had this kind of training where you feel so secure? It's like learning a martial art. When you go back and forth with a teacher, back and forth with your classmates, you join competition to the point where you feel fully secure. And do you know that as we progress into the future, setting and closing will only become more and more relevant, more and more important? These days, when was the last time you touched cash? Because a lot of my transactions are online, are digital, are through mobile. I don't even touch cash anymore. Because all these transactions are happening online. They're happening via my phone. So even if you don't become a setter, even if you don't become a closer, if you want to get good at communication, selling yourself, don't you realize that all these things are, what are they? Are they not setting and closing? You want to set up a date for yourself. Is that not setting? You want to close something, someone, anyone. Isn't that not closing? So I don't know about you, but I feel my future is directly tied to this. So what are you doing today? What are you doing daily to ensure that 6 months from now, you can have that full set of confidence to jump into any scenario and take control? Okay. What is inside setting? Okay, what is the root of setting? For you to acquire this superpower where you can go into any pipeline and say, oh, how many calls do we have this week? You can actually ask your influencer, or you can actually lay out the numbers and say, look, this week we've only had X amount of calls, but based on our company's goals, we should be having this amount of calls, and there is a gap. And here's the plan to close that gap. Okay, what does it take for you to have this kind of skills to control, command, or worst case scenario, impact or influence a company's pipeline? The root of it is for you to understand your company's ideal client avatar. That is the ICA. Every company has this. Okay, chances are when your influencer was creating their offer or solution, they were coached, okay, to build their own ICA. So if you can get access to that document, go get it. Otherwise, go build it yourself and really go analyze. If I have the rights to sell this one product, who is my ideal client? They get that piece of document. And based on this ICA, where are the places that they will congregate? Okay, that's where the traffic is. You know, website, funnels, what do they feed on? They feed on traffic. If there's no eyeballs, there's no sales. Okay, so you as a closer, yes, your main skill is in the closing. But why do closers see these skills as contradicting to your own skills? Why don't you see this as complementary to your own skills? Now, of course, the gurus want you to be a one-dimensional closer and just close. That way, you never have to learn how to set. That way, you never have to be self-sufficient. So don't fall into the trap. Okay, learn what is their buyer's journey. How do they come towards our offer? What is their buyer's process like? What are all the touch points? Okay, and in terms of the psychology, what happens when they go from hi, hello, and you're texting them and they're like, hey, great to connect. From here to let's get on a call, what is the conversation psychology looking like? Okay, there's only one thing you need to do when you're set, which is, why would you want to get on a date with me? Why would you want to go out with me? Why would you want to have a call with me? Where is the value in that for you? And the last thing, okay, is systems, okay, for you to track and monitor everything. Now, in your mind, if you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Okay, this is inside one of my core programs called strategic setting. Okay, here you will see the 6 core pillars, the foundations, the touch points, the trackers, okay, the examples, the psychology, the case studies, okay, of all the how and all the what and all the trackers is inside strategic setting. Okay, and once they've booked a call with you, how confident are you to take them through the process of, let's uncover your problem. What is the root of the pain? And what is a process that makes sense for you? And how are we going to onboard you as a client if it's a fit? Okay, this whole thing is inside, okay, strategic closing. Okay, before I talk about strategic closing, I want to let you know that all the calls that I review, all the calls that I take, all the calls that you take cannot escape this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 principle. There are an infinite amount of ways that a guru can teach one principle and generate causes and content over and over and over and over again. Spouse objection, partner objection, business partner objection, objection of your dog, objection of your cat, okay, objection of your teddy bear. Okay, there is infinite ways people can generate hours and hours and hours of content, but the root remains the same. And when you want to understand the why, when you want to internalize the why, you got to ask yourself, have I mastered the principles? Because if just one is missing, for example, if urgency is missing, essentially they don't have to buy today. So they're going to give you some BS answer like, now it's not the right time. And then you go and ask your coach, coach, he said it's not the right time. What should I say? And then your coach say, well, just tell him, is it a matter of time? Is it a matter of value? Or if you don't do this now, what's going to happen in 6 months? And you say it, but you still don't get the sale and you don't understand what's missing. It's because you are copying the how and the what. You never really internalize the why. Same thing for process, same thing for trust, Same thing for why you and not why other competitors. Same thing for why must the prospect take full ownership of my success. And the last one, why must I invest? Because if the prospect has a belief that I don't need to invest, or number 5, I don't need to take ownership, I don't believe you, you're not the only solution, then in the end, you're going to hear a ton of smoke screens. You're going to receive a ton of smoke bombs. And you know what the smoke bomb is? It's designed to be confusing. It's designed to be difficult to analyze. It's designed to smoke you. So when you analyze the smoke itself, you're going to get even more confused because it's never about the smoke. You really think it's their spouse? You really think they have no money? Because they're going to turn around and order food. They're going to turn around and buy a bunch of stuff. Prospects lie all the time. The smoke bomb is designed to be a smoke bomb. But what's behind the smoke bomb is all these principles. So in strategic closing, I lay out all the stages and I lay out all the strategy. For every call, okay, it follows a certain syntax, and you cannot break the syntax. From setting the intention of the call to diagnosing the issue, okay, to making sure the offer is a match with the prospect, fulfilling all the 6 principles that I mentioned, as well as all the variations of whatever objections they can come up with, okay, as well as all the stages from rapport to decision maker to background to pain and goals and trigger words, okay, all the way to what happens if they break your sequence, okay, the most important door, what have you tried, summarizing the call, process and urgency, the investment step, isolating the decision, overcoming objections and finances, every single compartment, that essentially, what are those? Those are just variations of these principles. It's inside strategic closing, okay? These calls is of no use if, after buying them, you don't train yourself hard and internalize them into your subconscious. When I pull out any part of the theory, or when I pull out any part of a conversation, or when I pull out any part of your sales call and I ask you, which principle does this relate to? What is the variation that is happening? And how should you deliver your message to match the prospect? If you cannot answer me, then you just consciously studying the course. You did not internalize what I'm teaching. Okay. Number 5, so. Okay, when I say so, what do I mean? It's a very simple thing. Okay, it's the alignment of your identity and your results. Today is about the inner game. And have you ever wondered, how do we know what's happening inside a person's inner game? How do you see? And how do I know? Am I a psychic? Can I read minds? Then how do we know what's happening inside a person's inner game? Who wants to guess? Okay, the answer is very simple. It's actually in the clues, okay, inside what they say. And actually on sales calls, that's what you're going to listen to as well. A lot of their words reveal how the paradigm thinks. But if someone is describing circumstances all the time, conditions, results, problems, okay, but it's quite lopsided. They don't really address possibilities or solutions or questions or blueprints or options. Then you know it's very lopsided, right? This person is heavily result, circumstance oriented thinking. They're thinking from conditions. They're not thinking from the cause. But which is the one that generate results? Is it the conditions or is it the cause? So one of the techniques that I teach in strategic closing is the bank account method. When your prospect is ready to invest and you're dealing with money stuff, one very good exercise is to get them to look at their bank account. And they don't have to tell you what the number is inside. Okay, but you can ask them, look at the number in the bank account now. And you don't have to tell me what number that is, but what do you think that represents? That is a result. That is a result, a reflection of a series of actions and habits that you have taken, maybe in the last 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, true or false. So if you continue with that habit, then what happens to the result? So should we change the course? Should we change the habit to have a different number in your bank account? Because if you keep describing the problems and obstacles, you actually start entering that reality. Okay, one of my mentors told me, you don't describe what you see. You see what you describe, which means if you keep describing the problems over and over and over again, that's going to become what you eventually see as your reality. And the two most dangerous words is try and but. If inside a closer, the words they use is try and but, that's it. It's game over for them. Okay, because the place that you should think from is not, what if I fail? It's not, oh, this is too difficult. It's not, oh, problems, obstacles, problem, obstacle. How far can you go if you keep thinking from those things? Because those have no real principle. You have to think from the root. Okay, these are the roots. Okay, the principles are the roots. The principles of your brand, the principles of your setting skills, the principles of your closing skills, the principles of your belief. These are very real seeds that will generate things. But excuses has no principle. But has no principle. Try has no principle. Those are not seeds. They don't exist. They have no base. They will not germinate into fruition. There's nothing that, if anything, they will only give birth to more excuses, problems, and obstacles. So as a six-figure closer, what is the identity? You cannot say, I want a six-figure career, and then on the back end, you're saying a different thing. Then the before and after, it doesn't tally. So if that's the case, then is there alignment? And if there's no alignment, will there be results? Okay, like I mentioned earlier, the moment you try to create that alignment, the old paradigm will resist violently. Okay, you must be absolutely ready for that. And I want everyone to start building this new habit. Okay, of every time you find that, oh my God, am I going to start procrastinating again? Oh my God, am I going to start giving excuses again? Oh my God, am I going to start blaming someone else again? Wait a minute. Okay, at the moment, I want you to catch yourself and say, isn't that why I'm stuck today? Then do I want to keep saying that? But of course, logically, you know what I mean. It's more of your emotions that will run wild and take control. So that is how violent the paradigm is. It's probably been there for 5, 10, 50, 20 years. So when you want to start a new system, it's not going to be easy. Okay, and then I saw one of the questions inside our messenger chat. One of you said that, oh, I don't feel secure. If I find a good opportunity, then I will feel secure. If I get paid, then I will feel secure to leave my 9 to 5. So this is all the employee mindset, because the root of it is what? The root of it is you're deriving your sense of security from the paycheck. So the shift happens, remember when I talk about C to B, the shift happens when you start seeing yourself as a specialist. You trust your skills more and more. Because at the root of it all, what is money? What is income? It is an energetic exchange. It is just a reflection of what is the value that you are delivering to the market. It's never, never, never a reaction to fear. And I mean, you can sell time. You can go to McDonald's and work and sell your time there. Okay, you can become a VA and clear your influencer's email. Are those value? Yes. But the real value that we as closers are here to deliver is performance-based. So this is a performance-based position. If your paradigm is not that paradigm, then you cannot perform here because your paradigm will keep telling you, hey, don't close. It's not secure, you know. A job is more secure. A job is more secure. Then can you imagine you join a team and then you're required to perform under pressure, and it's already that as challenging as it is, and your paradigm is still telling you, oh, you know, this is not secure. A job is more secure. A job is more secure. So you have to create a shift within you and look inside. Look at the root of your fear. If you have 6 months and this gets into your subconscious, and no matter the variation, no matter the challenge, no matter what the day is, you can do this all day. You trust your skills, you trust your fitness. By that time, do you still want a cap on your income? Do you still want to sell your hours? Do you still want to work for someone else and do the things you don't like? Or are you going to be like, I can set now, I can close. My income depends on how far I want to push with this. So these are more the entrepreneur breed, you know what I'm saying? These are the people that hunt. We go on the attack. We don't sell our time. We don't work for someone else. Yes, we are closing for someone else, but when I report my tax, I register this as my company, mine advancement. Even as a closer, that's what I do, because the cap is decided by me. My security comes from my skills, not from my boss. So you have to have that conversation with yourself, because I can't shift for you. Now, Ko Lee from Hong Kong, she was born in Australia, but she has been living in Hong Kong for a few years. Okay, like all of us, she's done courses, she joined a team, and then she hit a dry spell. Let me move this aside so we can look at this beautiful little puppy here. She hit a dry spell, okay, because the setting and closing skills weren't fully secure. And what is her end goal? Okay, she came with a very clear goal. Okay, on our first call, she told me, I want to replace my 9 to 5. I want to migrate back to Australia. Okay, see your admin. I want to complete my relationship goals, personal goals. I want to help out with my family business. And I want to step into a leadership position. Okay. So we sat down and we set goals. Okay. The goals you see here, 35K, okay, is the target. Okay. And this is the deadline. Okay. When we set goals in our program, we have goals and deadline, and we track the whole damn thing. Okay, now we are 1 month left from the time that we set this goal together, and she's at more than halfway there. She didn't hit the 35K, okay, but as of now, okay, she has made 600,000 in sales. So snaps for Coley. She is probably my best student ever. Okay, and we didn't hit the target of 35K. She's at 22K. As of now, she has collected 22K in commissions while in her full-time job. She just tendered her resignation, but this whole time, she was in her full-time job. So how would this money change your life? And an even better question is, what person did Coley have to become in order to command these results? And what person do you have to become to face this goal and not hit it, but hit a huge chunk of it and be super proud of yourself that you successfully shifted your identity, brand, and skills? Okay. The one on the right is Coley's message to me today. It's a fresh, hot message from today. Hey, Sean, been a bit busy last week. Just want to give a quick update. This review was super helpful. I was reviewing one of the sales calls, and I had the second call with Greg and tried calling him out on things that he was not clear. He is now excited and will be moving forward, finalizing paperwork and payment. Not so much on the deal, but the frame, and to hold the standards and space for everyone, benefits everyone, feels right. Gonna need more training and practicing, but I do see the difference after this review. Also, close 2. 1 call close, 5K and 10K. One of them was a paid in full. Okay, and 1 more, 30K closed. Sign up for full payment this week to come. Huge, huge snaps for Coley. because you didn't see her before. When she was confused, when she had no goals, when she had no system, when she had no way to track this, do you think if she didn't have these systems and these skills, would this ever have become a reality? Okay, she would just be waiting and waiting and waiting. And this dream to migrate back to Australia, to complete her personal relationship goals, would have never happened. And that would have left a dent in her heart. Because these are things that are very dear to her. Her goals are very dear to her. Okay, which brings me to the last one, reality. Okay, this is essentially what I told you, all the variations of the things that I'm teaching, of the things that can happen. I want to ask, is it really about getting a good offer? Is it really about joining a team? Okay, be honest with yourself. Where are you with your setting skills? Where are you with your closing skills? If I know a lot of business owners and I make a lot of recommendations all the time. Okay, talk to my students. But I will not recommend you if I don't think you can sustain the KPIs. Okay, from all the requirements that I mentioned today, there's 6. Okay. If you're missing 1 or 2 of these infinity stones, I don't even dare to recommend you. The people you know don't even dare to recommend you. But if you tell me, no, Sean, I have all 6 stones. I have the infinity gauntlet. If you have it, you will be in a team for sure. You will be headhunted. People will know. But if you're missing 1 or 2 or more, then so what, even if you get into the team? Okay, it will be like this guy. You get into the team and you still get fired because you're missing one of the foundations. Because once you're in a team, what's the reality? What's the reality of bringing a team? The reality is now we're having a team meeting. Everyone take turns. You have 1 or 2 minutes. Everybody screen share your numbers. Share your wins. Did you hit your KPIs? If no, why? If no, that's 1 strike. If again, you're not hitting KPIs, that's 2 strike. Why? Because there's a long list of people that wants to join our team. And probably by the 3rd time, you are out of the team. Doesn't matter what contract you sign. If the KPIs are not hit, the reality is you'll be released. And once you're in the team, there's going to be a lot of troubleshooting daily. Those of you who are already in teams, you tell me. Every day, there's a lot of troubleshooting on your own, yes or no? There's a lot of problem solving on your own, yes or no? There's a lot of unexpected challenges daily, yes or no? It's firefighting every day. If you cannot firefight, troubleshoot, problem solve for your own life, what makes you think you can handle that in a team? Teams are messy, you know? The reality is that teams are very messy. And for those of you that are already in teams, are you hitting your income goals? Those of you who are not in teams, are you subconsciously resisting this from happening? The reality is you need all 6 stones. Once you have all 6 stones in place, everything else are tests, are challenges that are just variations of what we covered today. For those of you that know Elaine, 1 year ago, when she can, how red can a face be? This face that you see here is a normal color, but how red can her face be? Because her face was, I remember, it was red from, I don't know what was it, breaking down, stress or crying, but then she couldn't talk. Her face was red, her eyes was red. She was horrified. After investing thousands of dollars, she was still stuck. Her family didn't know about this. Her family didn't understand, didn't support, and she was breaking down because of the fear and the overwhelm. And at that point, who could she go to? Who can help her? Okay, from underdog, she became one of my best students, and bit by bit, we built her foundations together. Do you know how horrible her English was? Horrible, horrible English, horrible grammar, okay, poor speaking skills. From such a foundation, we built from scratch. I have to correct her sentence after sentence, tense after tense, okay, to the point where she could finally set calls and finally close deals. And then we move on to building. All this happened in a year, okay, same as Coley. Sales systems, how to negotiate for her commissions, her profit sharing and things like that. But the real transformation that happened, it's in her self-confidence. Like I said, we are all here in closing to find our mission, to face ourselves. And this transformation was what took her from underdog to performer. And all my students have the same Excel sheet where you map out all your goals, you map out all your KPIs, and then you map out your performance. So as of today, since working with me, she has collected 23. All these numbers are all in USD. She has collected 23,000. A stay-home mother of two. She has to take care of her kids, her husband, her family business, and she still has time to set and close remotely to hit 23K. If a mother of two can do this, what's our excuse? Okay, everyone, steps for this amazing, courageous woman. So what do all these closers have in common? They were able to complete themselves. They were able to complete their own versions of the Infinity Gauntlet and shift their identity, shift their grade, okay, shift their grade to master setting, to master closing. I wouldn't say they have mastered it, but they are like halfway there, and that's already giving them these kind of results, okay, and to optimize their brand as well. Okay, so all this, to save you the time and trouble, I have bundled all my courses into one. If you go to Sena.live, this used to be a gift for my birthday. So if you go to Sena.live/bday, okay, you will get access to this bundle offer where I threw all the things that you need, okay, into a bundle. You can just get it for $497, okay, and start getting to work. Okay. For those of you that want to speak with me personally, because you feel like one of these stones, whether it's your space, whether it's your time, whether it's your power, whether it's your mind, okay, whether it's your soul, or whether it's your reality, you feel like if we can help you just optimize even just one or two of this by coaching you, by training you, by taking you through a similar journey of right now, you don't think you can do it. Just like in the beginning, Coley didn't think you can do it. But right now, you don't think you can do it. Just like in the beginning, Elaine would not even dare to imagine that she could even earn maybe $1,000 or $2,000 in the beginning. But I guarantee you, if you have a process, if you have a system, if you take full ownership and you do the work, and I'm your strategist, this will be your outcome. If you have the courage to consistently follow through, this will be your outcome. Okay, if you want to talk to me personally, head over to SeanSena.link and fill out the application form, and let's see how I can continue to coach and train you. If after watching this, you have some questions, okay, some things you want to clarify, whether it's inside the courses or a certain concept that you're not clear, just message me directly on Facebook, okay, because our time today is up. And if you want access to any one of these slides, okay, especially the most important one, which is this one, okay, or anything you want from the slides, okay, do a takeaway post in our Facebook group and share with me 3 things that you learned from today's training and 3 things that you're going to implement today and hold yourself accountable. And I'll send you access to the slides as well as whatever resource that you might need. Okay, comments, questions, feedback, send them my way. I have to go now. And if you have a question for me, just text me personally. Until next time, it's Sean Sena. This was the inner game of closing, and I'll see you same time, same place next week.